Today is the 2nd of February 2024, and this will be our 45th video on some possible exam questions. Okay, so we've done a lot. We've done topics, we've done videos to help with your revision, okay, with your Gcse revision. Okay, thank you to everyone who have subscribed to our channel. Okay, if you haven't considered already, please can you subscribe, share, like and follow us? I'll really appreciate that. But thank you to all of you who have subscribed, and you are helping spread our videos. Okay, look for people who are writing their exams, share it with them. Okay, it might just be the help they need to push them to a higher boundary, which will give them a grade and stop them from resitting, or help them not to go back into resit. In the comment section, you normally see, please follow my notes /script. Okay, these are my notes. I do them every morning, and I go over it over and over again, just to make sure that I'm giving you the accurate solution. At times I have different ways of solving it, so I try to show you how best you can solve it, whether it's calculator or non-calculator. Okay, so if you hear something apart from the notes, go by what is on the note. So for instance, this is 4. Okay, so if you hear 14, please go by the note. That is 64. Okay, so if you hear 54, please go by the note. Watch last video for recap. We are looking at very interesting questions. Watch last video for recap. Okay, our starter, 2 videos ago we solved this question. This is a higher non-calculator paper. I used the method to solve it, and then I decided, I looked at the question again, and I thought we could solve it in another way. So I decided to bring this question back into the starter. Okay, now they said solve 64 2 to the power 3. Okay, now this 64 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 3 can be written as 2 times 1/3. Okay, you can write 2 to the power 3 as 2 times 1/3. Okay, there, this one. Okay, so you can first look at 64 1/3, and then you add the 2, you multiply by the 2. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Now 64 1/3 is the same as the cube root of 64. Okay, now the cube root, we've done cube roots in our earlier videos. Okay, so this is just an application. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. So the cube root of 64 is 4. Okay, so something like 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, so the cube root of 8 is 2. Okay, so now this 64 here, you can look at it as the cube root of 8 and the cube root of 8, which is 2 times 2. Okay, or you can look at it as 4 times 4 times 4. So when you look at it, whichever way, whether the cube root of 8, which is 2 times 2, which will give you 4, or 4 by 4 by 4, the cube root of that 64 is also 4, as we've seen here. So this cube root, which is written as this, is 4. Okay, now since we know that the cube root of 64 is 4, we can add the square root. 4 squared is 16. So this is another way you can solve this question. We did this question in not the last video, the video before this one. Okay, which is some possible questions. This is 45, so that'll be 43. Okay, so you can go back and look at how we solve this and look at it now using the cube root. We've done videos on cube roots, okay, and what I guess explained to you. So you can first find this cube root of 64, which is 4, and then you square it, which will also give you 16. Now today's video, okay, is also a higher non-calculator paper. Okay, they say prove that 2 all over x minus 3 plus 1 all over x minus 1 equals 1. This here will simplify to that equals 0. Okay, they said you should prove it. Okay, now the trick solving this type of question is to look at your final answer and work towards it. Okay, we solve some question like that. So you are proving that this here equals this. So this is where you want to arrive at. Okay, so you start working with this and get here. Okay, or start working with your answer and get back here. Okay, but they said this simplifies to this, so it's best to work from here in this instance and get here. So first I'm going to bring all this out. So this is like a fraction. Look at x minus 3 as the denominator and x minus 1 as the denominator. Okay, so this can be 2 over a certain number and then 1 over a certain number equals 1. Okay, so the common factor here, I'm going to multiply x minus 3 by x minus 1. Okay, so now x minus 3, x minus 1. How many 2's do we have in x minus 3, x minus 1? So it's x minus 1. How x minus 3 into x minus 1, this will cancel out. So we have 2 into bracket x minus 1 plus 1 X minus 1 cancels this x minus 1, so we have 1. X minus 3 all equals to 1. Okay. Now I'm going to simplify the top. So 2 will multiply everything in the bracket. 1 will multiply everything in the bracket. So you have 2x minus 2 plus x minus 3. Now we want to simplify the denominator, which will give us x squared. X times x is x squared. X minus 1 is minus x. Minus 3 times x will be minus 3x. Minus 3 times minus 1 will be plus 3 equals 1. So I'm going to simplify again. Okay. Now 2x plus x minus 2 minus 3. The denominator become x squared minus x minus 3x will be minus 4x plus 3 equals 1. Now the numerator now becomes 2x plus x will be 3x. Minus 2 minus 3 will be minus 5. Now this denominator here, if we move it here, we'll multiply everything here, which is the 1. Okay, so this numerator becomes 3x minus 1. So we are moving the denominator to our right hand side. So we have x squared minus 4x plus 3. Now we are going to try and bring the x squares together, the x's together, and the numbers together. So x squared is on its own. Now we have minus 4x. This is plus 3x. So if it comes here, it becomes minus 3x, which will give us minus 7x. Now this is plus 3. If the minus 5 moves to the other side, it becomes plus 5. So we have x squared minus 7x plus 8. Okay, 3 plus 5 is 8 equals 7. 0 equals 0. So now we just swap it around. So x squared minus 7x plus 8 equals 0. So we've just proved it. So we've worked our way from this equation and simplified it down to x squared minus 7x plus 8 equals 0. Okay, so we've done that. Okay, now under exam condition, if you've been doing this a long time, you can skip some of the steps to make it shorter. But as I always say, I would rather have you do it step by step and get to the answer than to get to the answer and miss a symbol, and then you have to go all the way back and correct yourself. Okay, it is stressful and it's daunting under exam condition. So I'd rather prefer you doing it step by step, and you can't go wrong if you do it step by step, okay, than to rush through and get to the answer. You didn't get the right one, then you have to go back and waste time and do it again. Now, the next question we'll quickly have a look at is also a higher non-calculator paper. This is our rectangle here. The width is 2b plus 5 centimeters. The length is 3b plus 1 centimeters. Okay. Now, a rectangle with length and width has an area of 8 centimeters. Find B. Okay. Now, the area of a rectangle is length times the width. So we know the area, we know the length in terms of B, and we know the width in terms of B. Okay, so 8 centimeters all squared, which is the area, will be 3b plus 1 into bracket 2b plus 5. Okay, here we are just equating the area to the length and the width. Now we need to simplify out. Remember, 3b is going to multiply everything in this bracket. 1 is going to multiply everything in this bracket, and then we simplify. Okay, so 8, which is our area, 3b times 2b will give us 6b squared. Okay, 3b plus 5b will give us, plus 5 will give us 15b. Okay, if you do it step by step, you cannot go wrong. Okay, 1 times 2b will be 2b. 1 times 5 will be 5. Okay, so now all this equals to 8. So 6b squared plus 15b plus 2b will be 17b. Now we have plus 5 here and we have 8 here. If 8 is moved to that side, it becomes minus 8. So plus 5 minus 8 is minus 3. Now, this is a quadratic equation. You can use the quadratic formula. Okay, minus b plus or minus b squared plus minus 4ac, and then all divided by 2a. You can use that. Okay, or you can use a simpler method. Because this is a calculator paper, I'll prefer using this, which I'll show you in a few videos, okay, from now. Okay, now we have 6 and we have minus 3. When you multiply 6 and minus 3, you are going to get minus 18. We want two numbers. When you multiply together, you get 17. No, when you add them together, you get 17. And the only two numbers that you can have is 18 and minus 1. 18, positive 18 and minus 1 add up to 17. And when you multiply them, you get 6, you get 18 as 6 minus 3. Okay, so now instead of 17b, we are going to replace it by 18b minus b. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. So 6b squared plus 18b minus b if you simplify, becomes plus 17b minus 3 equals 0. Okay, now we simplified the first two and we've simplified the third and fourth. So if you look at this two equation, you can bring 6b out and then into bracket 3b plus 3, because b times 6b will give you 6b squared, and then 3 times 6b will give you 18b. So we've dealt with the first part of the equation. Now, whatever we have in the bracket should repeat itself in this bracket. Now we have minus b minus 3. So the only way we can get b plus 3 in this bracket is to bring minus 1 out, which is b plus 3. So if we multiply minus 1 by b, we get minus b. Minus 1 by 3, we get minus 3. Okay, so now everything in the bracket should be the same. So we have b plus 3 there, and then 6b minus 1 equals 0. Okay, non-calculator paper, you have to use this because the values of a, b and c are very large. You can use the quadratic equation. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, so now b plus 3 equals 0, or 6b minus 1 equals 0. Why? Because if one of them in the bracket or both of them equals 0, then the equation becomes 0. Okay, so let's look at what we get. So b plus 3 equals 0. So b equals minus 3. 6b minus 1 equals 0. So 6b equals 1 if you move the 1 to this side. So b equals 1, 6. Now b is minus 3, b is minus 6. 1 over 6. Which of the b's will you choose? Okay, length should always be positive. So whatever b you choose, if you put it back into the length and the width of the equation you've been given, it should be positive. Otherwise, you can't choose that. Length and width are always positive. So our test, if b is minus 3, or we've got two values of b, minus 3 or 1, 6. So if b is minus 3, 3b becomes minus 1 plus 1, so it will be minus 8 centimeters. This is not acceptable. The length cannot be minus 8 centimeters. And if b is minus 3, 2 minus 3 plus 5 will give you minus 6 plus 5. And then the width will be minus 1 centimeters. Also not acceptable. Okay, even if it's only the length that is negative, it's still not acceptable. So you can't choose that value of b. Now let's look at the value of b if b is 1, 6. So 3b into bracket 1, 6 plus 1. So if 3 cancels 6, you have half plus 1, which is equal to half plus 1 is 1.5, or 3 over 2 centimeters. So the length equals 3 over 2 centimeters. So we can, this is how we should find the value of b. So we can go by b equals 1, 6. Now let's look at the weight. B is 1/6. So 2 into bracket 1/6. 2 cancel 3. Okay, 6, you get 3. So you have 1/3 plus 5 over plus 5. So B here again, your weight becomes 5 1/3 centimeters. So we'll definitely go by B equals 1/6. We won't choose -3. So the value of B, even though we've got two values, to get the weight and the length positive, B will be 1/6. Okay, so we choose B equals 1/6. Okay, now if we use the quadratic equation, okay, 6B plus 17B minus 3 equals 0. The quadratic formula, okay, we substitute. We have minus 17 plus or minus the square root of 17 all squared minus 4. A is 6, okay, and C is -3. Yes, and then all over 2. A is 6 again. Yes, you can solve this, but this will become a bit bulkier and you might have to do things on the side. So it's better to know this method here, which I'll show you. This one that we did to break it down here. Okay, two numbers multiply will give you a -18, and then you want two numbers when you add up will be 70. So 18 and -1, then you can easily solve. You can also do this, okay, but it will take a bit more time. Okay, so -17 plus or minus the square root of 17 is 289, minus 4 times 6 is 24, times -3, minus 4 times 6 is -24, times -3 will be 72. In a non-calculator paper, I would avoid working with numbers like this, okay, because instead if you mix one of the numbers, then you've just wasted time and you might lose a mark of 2, which you don't want to do. So -17 plus or minus the root of, if you add what is here, 289 plus 72, you get 361 all over 12. So you have -17 plus or minus the root of 361 is 19 all over 12. So you have -17 plus 19 divided by 12, or -17 minus 19 divided by 12. Okay, so the quadratic equation is handy if you are using a calculator paper and if you have some bulky things. But in a non-calculator paper, unless you have smaller numbers for A, B, and C, then you should try and see if you can solve the question another way. So now, -17 plus 19 all over 12 will give you 2 over 12. at the numerator and 12 at the denominator, which is 1 over 6, or minus 17 minus 19 will give you minus 36, all divided by 12. Now, minus 36 divided by 12 will give you 3. Okay, so we'll choose b equals 1 over 6, as we discussed earlier, using the test to find the length and the width. Okay, one is a negative length and width, and the other, the only one that gives us a positive length and a positive width, is 1 over 6. So we'll choose b equals 1 over 6. Okay, go back and watch the video, look at the question again, look at the starter. Okay, thank you so much. Please subscribe, follow, like, share. Okay, share the video with your friends. Okay, if you know somebody is taking their exams, even if they won't use it, just share it with them. It might help them. Maybe they are last minute learners, I don't know. Okay, so thank you very much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next.